Welcome everyone. This is the CLAT paper 2019 and we are here to solve the English segment. As you all know, 40 questions are asked from this segment and here we are with the question first. Now this segment questions, the set of 10 questions deal with uh, finding out the correct statement out of the 4. As we can see all the 4 statements, let's see the first one. A few judges have cut short their vacation to clear long pending cases. So and cases do not go along. Is for singular and cases for plural. So this is an incorrect one. We move on to the next. A few judges have cut short vacation. So there seems to be something missing between cut short and vacation. So there is an article missing. So even this is not a correct statement. A few judges has. So has is again an auxiliary used with only singulars. So this is again a wrong one. So in all probability, the fourth one is leading us to the correct statement. So let's read it quickly. A few judges have cut short their vacation to clear the long pending cases. So everything seems to be in place. Judges is followed by an auxiliary used for the plural, their vacation to clear. So therefore, pending cases. So this seems to be a correct statement. So let's check the second one. Where's Hari? Here is he, right in front of us. So it ends in an exclamation and this doesn't sound like a surprise statement because of the arrangement of words. So let's not consider this. Here's Hari. Where's Hari? Here he is right in front of us. So this appears to be the right one, but let's see what the next two are. Where's Hari? The apostrophe is at the wrong place. Instead of being before S, it is after S. So therefore this is wrong. Where's Hari? Is he here right in front of us? So this is sounding like a question but ending in an exclamation. So this is again wrong. So the second option is the correct option. Where's Hari? Here he is right in front of us. So the arrangement of words is in an exclamatory surprise tone. Customs officer do not allow passengers to carry banned items into or out of the country. Now, officers here is plural, but then the apostrophe makes it sound singular. So it's wrong. Customs officers does not allow. Again, does is used for a singular entity, noun or pronoun. So this is again wrong. Customs officers do not allows passengers. Allows is using S or ES with the verb is again for singular. So this is again wrong. Let's see the fourth one. Customs officers do not allow passengers to carry banned items into or out of the country. So there seems no trouble whatsoever in this statement. So therefore, this is the correct one. Next question. Neither this nor that machine is working appears correct because neither this or that means we are taking one thing at a time, is working is again the right word, but still as we must read the remaining three, so we do. Neither this nor that machine are working, so the use of are is inappropriate in the second statement, therefore this is incorrect. Neither this and that. So when we are talking about differences, and is connecting them. Therefore, the use of and in the third statement is wrong. Neither this but that machine. So use of neither or nor, the nor is missing and instead but is used. But this is a paired usage. Therefore, nor should be placed in place of but. So we come to the first one as the correct statement. Next question. I shall be doing a MBA. So a MBA, MBA is making an a sound which is a vowel sound. So sounds wrong. So the problem lies in using the wrong article before MBA. I shall do a MBA, again the same issue, so therefore this is also wrong. I shall do an MBA online and continue with my present job appears correct. Still we'll quickly read the fourth one too. I shall do an MBA online but continuing with my present job. Now but continue would be the better way to say, so therefore the third statement appears correct. Alright. So let's see the next question. We have to find out the correct out of the four. As soon as I boarded the train, I realized that I left my wallet at home. So two simple past tenses used in both past events is a wrong usage, which is not allowed. As soon as I boarded the train, I realized. A past with a present again is a wrong combination. As soon as I board the train, I realize that I leave my wallet at home. Of course, simple present tense is used to narrate past incidents, but this is a wrong usage. Board the train, I realize, because board should be followed by realize, and instead of that, realized is used. So this is again wrong. Therefore, the fourth one, as soon as I boarded the train, I realized. So, boarded and realized are okay that I had left. So, as you can see, the first part of the statement is in simple past and the second part is in past perfect. Therefore, this is an approved combination, so it is correct. Next question. We can take either the morning flight nor. So this is a very evident error that either must always be followed by or, but instead nor has been used. So this is straight away an incorrect usage. We can take neither the morning flight or, again the same issue, neither or together do not go along. We can take either morning flight or the one in afternoon. So the article is missing from the word morning. So it should have been the morning. So this is again an unapproved thing. We can take either the morning flight or the one in the afternoon seems balanced and okay. The usage of either or and the usage of the definite article the in front of morning as well as afternoon makes it a correct statement. Okay. The management have promised. So management being one unit, one entity should have been followed by has. But instead have has been used, which is wrong. With singulars, we always use has. The management has promised that it will consider my appeal. Appears correct. Still, we'll go through the next two as well. The management has promised, right? So, in present perfect tense, the verb form is the third form of the verb, and here the first form is used. So, this is incorrect. Promise is written instead of promised. Therefore, this is incorrect. The management has promised that it will considered. So with will, which is future tense, how can a past form of verb be used? So this is also incorrect, which makes the second statement to be a correct statement. Question number 9. Tourists must follow the norms set upon the country they visit. Uh, can't make anything out of it. So let's see the next three as well. Tourists must follow norms set by country they visit. Similarly, the next one, tourists must follow the norms set by the country they visit. Now, first and third appear quite close, but then the use of the preposition sets it apart. Set upon. Now, how set upon the country means that the rules are imposed on the country, whereas what we mean to say is that the country is making the rules. Therefore, by the correct usage of by, the third statement appears correct. Tourists must follow the norms set by the country they visits. Again, visits is for the singular and tourist is a plural noun. Therefore, this is also incorrect. That makes our third statement to be the correct one. Next question. An important file along with two uniforms are missing from the police station. Now the middle part of the statement is just an extension to the main statement, which is the main clauses, an important file missing from the police station. Right? So the file being a single unit, the middle segment is just an additional information provided. Therefore, the usage of the word are is inappropriate. So this is an incorrect statement. An important file along with two uniforms is missed. So is missed is again the wrong structure, doesn't fit in any tense. So therefore this is also wrong. And important files. Now the first segment itself reveals that this is a wrong thing. And important, how can a plural noun be added to a singular article? Therefore, the fourth one, an important file along with two uniforms is missing from the police station, is the correct statement. Next question. One of them copied and pasted large portions of the required text from a website. Now, this is a different category. Now we are sequencing. Now we were finished with the first segment of finding errors. Now this has something to do with sequencing the correct order. So let's see this one. One of them copied. Now, copied what? So this seems to be a follow-up action of something that started before. Before assigning the project to his students, the guide gave a presentation on plagiarism. Now, this appears to be the beginning of some event, but still we'll read the other two. The expulsion order that followed was not alarming. A few students did not pay much heed to the consequences of the legal act. Right? So, before assigning the project, the assignment was allotted, and before that, the guide gave a presentation. Right? So, this appears to be the first statement that a presentation has begun. Now, when an assignment was given, how were the reactions? The reactions were that a few students did not pay much heed. Therefore, D one. On one of them, like out of those few students, one of them copied and pasted large portions. So this appears to be the successive event that an assignment was given. This is how a few students reacted. One of them copied, and therefore the next one, C. The expulsion order that followed was not alarming, and as a result of copying and pasting things, he was expelled. So, our option number D seems to be the correct option. All right. Goals are set and relevant data is collected and analyzed. Goals are set for what? So that seems like an incomplete thing. So we must know what the goals are. So this cannot be the first statement. Strategies are made on the basis of the data and resources made available. There are various stages in framing a management. So this uh, setting of goals and making of strategies seems to be the stages. So C easily is the first statement. There are various stages in forming management strategy. The first one being setting up of goals. Therefore, A being the second option. Strategies are made. So this appears to be the third step in the making of a strategy. The strategies are implemented, and once the strategies are made and the goals are set, the last segment that remains is the implementation. Therefore, option number C is the correct option. C, A, B, D. Okay. The next question is, despite the awareness, some citizens fail to pay their taxes honestly. One of the factors that impacts our country's economy is income tax. Awareness regarding this aspect of our economy. Most of the defaulters not only get into trouble, right? So what is affecting our economy, because of which all the other things are failing? So it seems that what is affecting is the income tax factor. Therefore, statement number B. One of the factors that impacts our country's economy is income tax. Now, how is it affecting? Awareness regarding this aspect of our economy is often made through the education system and media, right? Despite the awareness, things are going wrong, right? So the income tax factor, first the awareness is created, so therefore C happens to be the second one. Despite the awareness, so once the awareness is created, there are discrepancies which are talked about in the statement number A. Despite the awareness, some citizens fail to pay their taxes honestly, but most of these defaulters do not get into trouble. So D happens to be the next succession. So the options are B, C, A and D. Okay. The responsible citizen helped to foil the plan of a hijack. The deep pocket of his leather jacket. So, whose pocket are we talking about? So, the person should be introduced first. Therefore, a person called up the airport and gave a message. So, this seems to be the beginning of the trouble. That means how the trouble began. The person is introduced in statement number C. So, this appears to be the first statement. A person called up the airport and gave a message. All the passengers were carefully frisked. So there was a hoax call, and therefore, as a result of which, all the passengers were checked. They were frisked very carefully. And one of them was asked to step aside. So D happens to be the next in the line. The deep pockets of his leather jacket. The person who was asked to step aside, his pockets were thoroughly checked. So B. The responsible citizen helped to foil the plan of a hijack, and finally the hijacker was caught, and therefore CDBA appears to be the sequence, which is option number B. Let's move on to the next question. In the following years, more layers of snow add up to the existing mass. All right. Um, in the following years, that means these things are following, but what brought about the beginning? So, consequently, as a consequence of what? So, this is again not looking like the first statement. Now, see the next one. Most glaciers are found near the poles. Now, this happens to be the introduction, the introductory statement. So, C happens to be the first one. Most glaciers are found near the poles. They begin to form. What begins to form? The glaciers begin to form. Therefore, D happens to be the second one. When snow remains in the same area all year round. In the following years, we have talked about 1 year, what happens in the subsequent years? More layers of snow add up to the existing mass. So statement number A. And as a consequence of adding mass, what happens? The weight of the snow compresses and turns into solid ice. So this seems to be a very, very logically placed thing. Therefore, D happens to be the correct answer. C, D, A, B. Okay, so the next section is all about the foreign words used and with the English meanings. So the first in the series is intervivos. The meaning of the word, as you can see, is especially of a gift as opposed to a legacy between living people. Therefore, the option number C is the correct answer. The next is quantum ramifactus, which means the meaning is the amount of damages suffered. Very clearly, the exact meaning is option number A given. The next one is malice, which means something which is malicious, something which is bad, evil, or wicked. That means something which is about to cause some harm. Therefore, option number C is the correct answer. Volvo, very commonly used term in terms of transport, has been derived from again a Latin word volvere, which means to roll. And when changed in form, Volvo means I roll. So option number 1. The next one is a little deviation because it's instead of Latin, unlike the rest of them, it's a French word, charade, which means a kind of riddle. That means you are beating about the bush, you are not coming out straight, and therefore instead of presenting facts, you are pretending. Therefore, pretense is the correct option. The next is a very, very easy segment, I believe, because you have to choose the correct noun, the common noun, the correct one. Malti Ahuja is making a sincere effort to pay off her creditor. So the confusion lies only in the spelling of the term. Therefore, option number D has the correct spelling, creditor, which is the correct answer. And now again there is a confusion created in terms of spelling on itself. So the next one again is of the same category. It is our responsibility to leave a green and clean world for our descendants. So the correct spelling is the C one, descendants, D-E-S-C-E-N. The next question. The patient's death was the result of sheer negligence on the part of the surgeon. So the correct spelling of the word negligence is the one where the arrangement of letters is correct. That is option number B. Negligence. The next, the scientist's biography is a blatant misinterpretation of facts. So, misrepresentation rather. So, misrepresentation, the correct spelling is given in the option number 1. There is no Z or there is no misrepresentation. You can easily make out. In rest of the three, the spellings are blaringly wrong. The next one, 25th. It was a privilege to work with these scientists. So the commonest confusion that you can go to is option number B, whereas the correct spelling is D. There is no D in the spelling of privilege. Now the next are all proverbs and idioms that you have been studying quite often. Son, there's something that the father says, research the company before you apply for the job. That means he is telling his son to hold his horses, which means before taking any action, before jumping to something or before starting the race, you should research properly. The next one, please. This is not the time to get anxious. That means somebody is requesting you to have patience. So something that urges you to keep patience is the first option. Pull yourself together. That means muster all your courage, prepare yourself, and handle the problem. All right. So the next question is, in our company, we don't accept such carelessly done work. That means you have to become more organized in order to work properly in the company. So option number B, get your act together. That means be more organized is the correct answer. The next one, I can't work on this assignment anymore. I think I have done enough. That means I cannot handle any more pressure. Bitten off more than I can chew. That means you have taken up more work than how much you can handle. The next one, I'm a historian. I'm a dash in this seminar of robots. That means he is finding himself out of place. So the option B, fish out of water. That means he's not on familiar grounds is the correct option. So here we move to the next segment, which is the unseen passage. The passage you can see on your screens. Let's see what it says. The words invention and innovation are closely linked, but they are not interchangeable. So probably the writer intends to tell us and elaborate the difference between an invention and an innovation. So going through the entire passage, we come across many such examples that what an innovator does. An innovator might use the invention as it is, modify it, or even blend two or more inventions. So as you can see, the second last line on first paragraph further differentiates between how the work of an innovator is different from that of an inventor, right? The in an invention, the result of countless trials and errors is evident. So can be the case with an innovation. Now, along with the differences, the writer also tells us about the common points. What are the similarities? Not even attempt to make an invention is successful. Not every innovation sees the light of the day. That means the success rate is not 100% is what the author is saying. And he supports the argument by giving the example of Benjamin Franklin. That means he also came across many failures. Similarly, he also quotes the example of Steve Jobs, who progressed from an inventor to an innovator. Why? Because quickly and get the improved of innovations. That means he's brought about his inventions into practice. Thus, inventors and innovators have to be intrepid. Intrepid means fearless. They don't have to be scared of failure. They have to be fearless enough to take risks, consider failures as stepping stones. So this is a motivational line that how they should behave in order to find success. They have to remain fearless. They have to remain intrepid. Some inventions are the result of keen observation or simple discovery. So again, an inventor, Mr. Velcro. The invention of Velcro, the zip-like thing that joins two surfaces together is elaborately mentioned, that how the zipless zipper, as he says, was invented by a Swiss engineer while he was hiking, and he came across those spiny seeds which are known as burrs, and they stuck to his clothing. He got the idea of developing something in a constructive, the same thing, the same phenomena in a constructive manner. So very quickly, next to the next part of the paragraph. The world of inventions and innovations is a competitive one. So as you can see, what the difference with which the author began, he's maintaining and elaborating the same differences further, that he goes on citing examples of how inventions happened and how innovations happened. But the race does not end here. It's also prevalent in the case of getting intellectual property rights. So now that, okay, who failed and who succeeded in the fight of being declared an innovator. So the author gives an example of Thomas Edison. That means who had about 1,000 and probably more, 1,093 patents to his credit. But then he says that there was another person whose inventions were as significant, but then since he got a little late. So he talks about Elisha Gray. That means he had also invented the same gadget, but then his patent file was a little delayed. Therefore, Thomas Edison, or Alexander Graham Bell rather, walked away with the credit of inventing the telephone. It is not easy and at times almost impossible for an inventor to be an innovator too. That means an inventor who is researching, who is developing a technique may or may not, bring it into practice. So this is where an inventor fails to become an innovator when his inventions do not become do not see the light of the day, do not become into practice, do not come into practice. There are very few like Thomas Edison who graduated from being an incredible inventor to a successful manufacturer. That means from an inventor, he also became an innovator. And because of all his inventions coming into use of mankind. While innovations that have helped to enhance the quality of life are laudable. Laudable means worth appreciation, worth appreciating or worth rewarding. Equally laudable are the inventions that laid the foundation of these innovations. So the author concludes the passage in a very nice manner. He says that if innovations are something that makes a particular scientist famous, being an inventor is the first step towards becoming an innovator. So I hope the passage is quite clear to us all. So let's attempt the questions. Okay. All right. So after the thorough reading of the passage, are we ready for the questions? So let's see. So the first question is asking you about the overall tone of the question, whether the text in the passage can be best described as narrative, persuasive, descriptive, or expository. Persuasive, of course, it is not, but then there is a confusion between descriptive and expository because they all are very closely related. So we can see that it is an expository passage because it not only explains in details but also compares. Whereas a descriptive passage can only describe a person, place, or thing. Comparison is an extension. Therefore, expository is the correct answer. The next question. The main idea of the author is to highlight the difficulties faced by innovators. Not really, because he even brings in the inventor. So this is not the correct answer. Focuses on the hardships of patent seekers. That is just one part of the passage, not the entire passage. Compares innovators to inventors. Yes. Why? Because throughout the passage he does that. Reveal the importance of inventors. No, because he concludes that even the innovators are equally important. Okay, so the correct answer here is the C1. Now, the next question. The author believes that innovators enhance the utility of inventions. Well, let's see. Innovators face fewer challenges than inventors do. No, that is not the case. The challenges, none of the challenges faced can be underrated, can be overlooked. Both are equally struggling. The C option, every inventor has a patent for the invention. Not really. Why? Because it is mentioned in the sixth paragraph that Elisha Gray did not get a patent, and who got it instead? Yes, Alexander Graham Bell got it. So even this option is incorrect. Invention is the same as innovation? No, because throughout he mentions the difference between the two. Therefore, option number A, innovators enhance the utility of inventions, is the correct answer, and all the remaining three are incorrect. Okay, now the next question is quite a factual one, and the hints for the same are given in paragraph number 2 and 3. If you read carefully, you will find the names of both these gentlemen mentioned. Benjamin Franklin and Steve Jobs believe that there is no place for mistakes in the process, or making a mistake before finding success is not unusual. Failure is a permanent stumbling block. No, all inventors have to go through failure, of course, fine. But then Making a mistake before finding success is not unusual. Their lives suggest the same. Steve Jobs or Benjamin Franklin, they both underwent a lot of unusual circumstances before they finally became successful. Therefore, option number B is the correct answer. The next question. Velcro can be best described as. Uh, the mention of this example by this is a German gentleman on whose name the Velcro is named. It's mentioned in paragraph 4 that he found certain thorny things which had spikes, and then they got stuck in the fur of his pet dog, and also in his clothing. Therefore, the correct answer that the explanation leads to that it was an accidental invention. While on his trekking trips on hills, he came across this thing and thought of designing the Velcro. Therefore, option number 4 is the correct option. All right, our next question. It is believed that Graham Bell became the first patent holder of the telephone because of his ingenuity and good fortune. The carelessness of Elisha's lawyer, or the clever trick played by his lawyer, or the biased officials in the patent office. So, paragraph number 5 mentions that Elisha's lawyer means Graham Bell's file was actually taken up first, and it was just a sheer stroke of luck that Alicia's file remained there on the table and Graham Bell's file was picked up. Therefore, the first option, that his ingenuity and good fortune actually made him got him the patent of a telephone, is the correct option, because it was a sheer luck that his file was picked up first. Now, which of the following is untrue? That is our next question. Inventors may not be innovators. Now, it's the opening line that begins with the difference between the two, and throughout the passage, it is elaborated. So, line number 1 itself will give you enough hint that inventors may not be innovators because they are different. Now, line number 3, let's see the third option. To get a patent, the applicant has to follow a legal process clearly mentioned in para 5, the legal procedures that one has to go through. Now, the next option, D, intellectual property rights are not always easy to get, because the tiff that goes on between Alexander Graham Bell and Elisha itself is a good example that the legal procedures take long and very clumsily happening. So, if we have 3 statements which are true, automatically the fourth one, the option number B, which is left out, is the correct answer. Okay, next question. Which of the following texts from the passage clearly indicates failure? The rest of them may be the success stories that way. And the statements are: the world of inventions and innovations is a competitive one, right? If it is competition, it may even lead to success. So it is not indicating failure. Not every innovation sees the light of the day, of course. Some of them at a very nascent stage, at a very initial stage, they die down and do not reach the fruition stage. So appears correct, but still we'll read the next two. Thus, inventors and innovators have to be intrepid enough to take risks. That means they must be fearless, and none of the above. So innovations are not expected to be sorry. The option that is leading us to the correct, which appears to be the correct statement, is option number B, that not every innovation sees the light of the day. That means some of them do not get the patent, some of them are unsuccessful, and some of them cannot cope with the complicated legal procedures. Therefore, this option seems correct. Now, the next one is: which of these words can replace the word intrepid? Of course, clearly it is the word daring, which means fearless. The last question of this segment is: which of these words is the antonym of laudable? Laudable means which should be applauded, which should be appreciated, which should be cherished and appreciated. So, very clearly, something which is disgraceful will not invite any appreciation. So, the antonym is disgraceful. Thank you very much. All right, children, that brings us to the end of this segment. the English section, which consisted of 40 questions, and they all are quite factual in nature, and the meanings and the words given can easily be guessed, the antonyms and synonyms, everything. And being so factual in nature, I believe that a score of 35 and above is desirable. Anything below that would want the student to review his or her performance further, right? So Jai Hind, all the best that in the next coming papers you score higher.